And welcome to Poppy's Workshop. From Little Acorns, Great Oaks Grow. So, let's see where we're at right now. I am actually still working on, let me pivot over here. I am still working on my big project here. I guess you can call it a big project, the King Neptune. But I need to get another project done, and that's pretty typical in a workshop. You're going to be working on a few things when you can't get one finished. This was the one that I have alluded to. Let's get the shadow off of it. This is the art piece for Norfolk Botanical Gardens. Uh, called 200 Women. And yeah, there's only three in it, but it is based on the statue that they have in their gardens honoring the 200 women in 1938. See, I got it there now, I remember. Honoring them, um, there was 200 women and 20 men in 1938 that took 75 acres of swampland. And you can imagine doing that in the heat of the mid-Atlantic. It's it gets pretty bad here in the summertime. There's no doubt about it. Even in the springtime. Uh, but they cleared 75 acres, planted thousands of azaleas, to basically create the base of what is now Norfolk Botanical Gardens. So I'm doing an art piece, and then just to show you, here is a scaled down version that will become an ornament. So that's the next thing that I'll do is once I get this one done, and I simplified this piece quite a bit. Again, let me show you here. I simplified it quite a bit. So in a large version, it's it's not super impressive, but it's nice. Um, and this is the double stack, half inch. And sometimes I'm wondering if I ever do something like that again, if I should go to say 3/8 of an inch and um, crank out three of them. I think 3/8 might be a nice alternative to the half, but I wanted something um, to be very sturdy. Uh, Butterwood. So we'll do a couple cuts here, but as you can see, I do have some of the large holes here in the large areas, and you can see this one here is a very long cut. I'll probably do multiple cuts here, and then of course the smaller ones where I'll go to a smaller blade. What I'm going to do is start with a number 7 blade, and let me switch to the top of the scroll saw here. I'm going to do the number 7, and the number 7, of course, will be for the straight cuts because I have sharp corners. I want to make sure that I nibble these out and make them super clean versus what a lot of people do is they just come to the end and whoop, quick turn. Some people can get decent corners, but I want absolutely sharp. Then when I switch inside, I will probably switch to a number 5 to do all this, and probably the same with these, um, because these don't have super sharp turns. So I think a number 5 will handle that quite well. On the outside, I'm debating. I'll probably switch back to a number 7, a number 9 if I got kind of lazy here. As you can see, um, let's see, I can do it. Where is that? Okay, here we go. Let me get my pointer. So what I did is I made the width of my pattern exactly 8 inches, which is the exact width of my board. So I'm avoiding having to cut these long sides over here. I could have moved this down and uh, put it at the. What just fell? I don't know. Um, yeah. Okay. Well, I could have put it at the bottom here, but because I was double stacking, I wanted to put some glue in the corners. So that is the reason. But really, I can easily cut a straight line like that using a number 7 or a number 9. Um, so keep that in mind. We're not really getting into a discussion of blades today. I think I may do that as a separate video. But the long short of it is that the lower the number, the skinnier the blade, and the teeth per inch is different. And you can turn a lot sharper. And then when you go to the thicker blades, of course, you can't make turns quite as well, but you can nibble and stuff, but they're great for straight lines. So I am switching back and forth. I try to minimize it. That's why the number 5 is usually my go-to. Is the most flexible. I can cut the straight lines, but I can also do the curves. Um, Again, I use Flying Dutchman Ultra Reverse. So the teeth go pointing down and they point up as well. And I find that when I do my cuts, they are super smooth. I do not have to sand any of my cuts after the fact. So that is why I prefer the Pegasus, yeah, the Flying Dutchman, which uh, if you didn't know, Niqua is actually the same as a Flying Dutchman. So those are interchangeable. Depends on where you are. Get a Niqua, get a Flying Dutchman. They are both the same. Now, a lot of people like Pegasus. Now, I do have Pegasus. I do use it once in a while, but here's the thing, the positive. Pegasus is very sharp. It lasts a long time. It's actually a very good. Well, actually, while I'm talking, let me get ready for one cut. The blade does last a long time. However, I find that the Pegasus doesn't give me quite as smooth of a cut as the Flying Dutchman. Um, that's just a personal preference. Let me get started here. That's just a personal preference. So I'm going into that corner. I think I can do this with one nibble, but I'm gonna do two nibbles. And I still have to adjust my, wait a second. I'm not fully seated here. I'm gonna adjust this a little bit. There we go. And as you can see, it still twists my blade even at 2, but what I can do is I can still back in if I wanted to, or actually, let me do this. This is what I was originally going to do. Is I come out a little bit, then I aim. Let me smooth that. I aim towards the right hand corner, and I am nibbling just a little bit to give my blade room to go in. And I came down a little bit lower than normal, but it's not too bad. The Pegasus is also a very fast cut, kind of like this number 7. I'm still trying to get warmed up this morning. There we go. I'm only going to do the one nibble. Actually, I got to slow the blade down. Whoop. I've got a flat spot in my rheostat. There we go. Exactly where I want it. So I'm nibbling just a little bit or pushing just a little bit to see where my blade is going to track before I start to cut a little bit faster. But with the Pegasus, it's being as aggressive as it is, it's a very fast cut. Yeah, I'm more comfortable with that. Yeah, just a little bit to the left of my line, but I'm still cutting the entire line. Actually, let's get that puffer in place. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's exactly where I want it. Try to get my hands in a good position. I want to cross the grain so it chatters a little bit more. All right. Actually, I can get that out of the way. And I'm gonna see. Let me do that. All right. I want to look at this, and I see just a little bit of a spot here. Here we go. And a little spot here. This is me being a perfectionist. Yeah. So what did I do with the wood? Put it in my tray. So this is a little bit rougher with the number 7, but you can still see. Let's get that where you can see it. There's a nice little shine to it, but I find the number 5 gives a smoother cut, but this is not too bad. But being that this is really large, I think that I will go in eventually and sand it with some of my sanding sticks. I like these bigger holes, that's for sure, versus trying to thread those little ones. Man, what a pain that is. So you notice the board moved a little bit. Actually, that didn't feel very tight. Ah, there we go. So you learn a lot by feel. Like I can feel the tension going in and keep it very consistent. That is more of a rounded corner there. So I'm going to nibble that slight round until I get to the straight part and smooth it out a little bit. But I will probably do a video that goes into a little bit more detail on blades. I don't think I've done one before. So I'm just giving a little bit more room to cut and turn. There we go. Now I'm off a little bit. I can see when I started, if I'd kept on the same path, I would be going out this way. And I don't want that. So I'm going to correct that. And if you do it quick enough, the eye won't see the issue. I can see the mistake back there. That happens. Let's try that again. So one thing you can actually do is turn it a little bit further into the waist area when you do your first cut. There you go. That worked. I didn't turn it far enough. And the distortion through the lens throws my eye off a little bit when I look further back. I'm going a little bit slower this morning, so I'm going to go past. Yeah, see, I can see now that it would be going off this way, so now I can correct. And I'm correcting within the waist area versus that one, my first cut of this block, I did not do that. Sometimes I forget to do my own habits. Gotta get it in a little bit more, but this may help correct my mistake. I'm gonna nibble that corner a little bit. All right, let me get those out. Yeah, those feel a lot smoother. Okay, let me look at this. Yeah, I'm gonna sharpen that corner, and that'll get. There we go. Let's see how that looks with the naked eye. Oh, much better. Much better. Not having my vacuum on makes a much bigger mess. Oops. Still early in the morning while I'm videoing this. If you knew my lifestyle, generally I'm up by 2 in the morning, working out at 2:30, in the shower by 3, in the office by 4. Oops, gotta put that back. Usually I don't move that as much. I think that's a better direction. Yeah, that's a sharp corner that I just nibbled. So let me show you the other way that I do this. If you do, say, 3 nibbles, and you're a beginner, smooth it out a little bit. Then, with the blade off, you can turn it, pull it back into the corner, the back goes in the corner, then start. The side of the blade is actually smoothing that first cut a little bit more with friction, and then you can start your cut in, adjust it within the waist area, watch how it tracks, and nail those lines. So I'm letting the blade catch up here. I'm not moving the piece until the very end to get that last little nibble. All right. One thing people have to get used to is you think you're pushing the wood straight, but you're seeing that your line from the blade cut is not matching. So that's something you need to get used to as you watch the blade track, and that will change as the blade ages and dulls. So you would think that if I line my wood up straight, um, let's see, I think that would be where it would be. And if I pushed straight, it would make a straight line, but it doesn't. You're actually kind of angling a little bit and adjusting, doing the micro adjustments. So that's probably one of the first things people need to master. All right, let's get this last cut in here. I do love the sound of the saw. And the smell of sawdust. I love the smell of sawdust in the morning. There we go. All right. I think that'll be a good demo of where we're at. Yeah, that's actually, that is pretty smooth now. Before it was chattering. So you can see some of the shiny where it's really super smooth. Um, I was about to say, is that scorching? No, that's just the end grain. But I always check my scrap once in a while just to see how it's cutting. Just a habit that I have. Let me switch over to the wide. And here's where we're at 3 cuts. We're getting there. So there you go. I think that's a good example for this video today. And figure out as I move along with this piece, um, get to the smaller um, portions down here. Um, I think I may save the middle part for the last. Uh, we'll see about that. But then I think after I do these three, I'll move and start getting some of the details in the ladies and then work my way down. So there you go. I think that'll cover things for today. May the Lord richly bless you and make it a great day. If I can find where to point, somewhere here. There you go. Make it a great day right here at Poppy's Workshop.